let's do a review of custom alerts and how you can integrate interval flow into custom alerts into data that you can access via the API. So first things first, what I'm going to do is go to the custom alerts page, just do a quick review of what I have configured right now. So I have lots of custom alerts over here, and these are presently accessible via API. And let's go ahead and confirm that though. I'm going to use a new project. You can see that I am on Windows, so I'm going to use WSL, and I will use something like UV for Python package management and environment management, and hopefully this will be pretty snappy too. So I'm going to create a new directory for this. Let's create a virtual environment so I don't pollute everything. And we'll turn the virtual environment on, and I can check that the Python inside this directory I just created is active. So let's get some packages installed. I want to have IPyKernel so I can run a Jupyter notebook, and HTTPX for interacting with the API, and polars in case we need to do anything DataFrame like, and just in case we need to manage an environment variable. I don't think I will need to, but better safe than sorry. I need python.env. Okay, great. So we've got this all set now, and I'm going to, I'll just start VS Code to run a Jupyter notebook. Actually, here, you know what? I'm going to use this main.py. Just get rid of all that. And let's move that out of the way. And let me see here. Path in case I need to deal with the operating system. And gosh, I think that's it. So now what I want to do, let me just check if I can interactively work on this file right here. So let me just say hello. Then I'll hit Shift Enter. Cool. Okay, great. Interactive mode is working. Wonderful. This will go faster, I think. But let's get to interacting with the Unusual Whales API. I know I need the headers dictionary, and that's not going to change. So I want, that's, authorization. And that's going to be a token. And then I need to accept JSON. And there we go. And the token is going to be UW token. I have my API key stored as an environment variable. And so let's run these, and then run this. Okay, great. So now what I want to do is check the API documentation and make sure I'm using the right configs URL. Okay. So I'm going to get all my alert configurations. URL is this, and just say response. Okay, status code 200. Let's see what the response looks like. Okay, great. So I have lots of elements in this response. Let's make this a little bit easier to read, and everybody can dunk on me for my inability to program well. Configs is, okay, so there's a dictionary, and I want, okay, it's called name, and then I want the ID. Yeah, okay. Shout out to Copilot, if this one works. Yeah, okay, awesome. So here we go. You can see that here are all my custom alerts. OS bearish credit trades, OS bullish credit trades, OS cheap calls. And if I swing back over to these, you can see that they match. Let's just move this to this side of the screen. And yeah, bearish credit trades, bullish credit trades, cheap calls, put sells. Okay, great. So now what I want to do is add a new custom alert. And just to be clear, this custom alert comes from Nicholas, the Stoner Man content producer. And I want to make sure that everyone sees that I don't have an existing custom alert that's called, let's say, Nicholas Stonerman, but I know I have it saved as an interval flow configuration. So I'm going to take this and actually, no, why am I doing that? I'll just search interval flow. Okay, yeah, perfect. So I have this Nicholas Stonerman one. I'll just reset it and select Nicholas Stonerman. Okay, great. So now what I want to do is save this as a custom alert so I can eventually access these types of alerts through the API. So the way to do that is to click this gold bell and create an alert based on the current filters. So I click that, I get a new tab. I'm gonna name this Nicholas Stonerman so I don't get confused about which one is which. And then I don't need to make any other changes because it brought over all of the configuration that was already set up from the interval flow filter. So I'm just gonna scroll down here, click create alert. And now if I come back to my interactive session here, and if I hit the API again, okay, and then don't need that anymore. If I get the configs now, you can see there's a new custom alert config, and the name is Nicholas Stonerman, like I just saved it. So what I eventually want to do, obviously I don't want to just prove that you can access your custom alert configs. I want to be able to actually get the alerts that match the criteria associated with this custom alert. So the next thing I need to do is hit the with the alerts endpoint. So I'm going to grab that URL, come back over here, paste that in, and then I know I'm going to need params. So let's check what parameters I need to pass in. Okay, config IDs. And I'm just gonna set the Nicholas Stonerman one here. So let's call this config IDs. And then I want to take this from my printout. Okay, so it's config IDs, not a double. Great. And I want to set the limit to 200 because that is the max. And I really think that's it. So come back over here, set limit to 200. now, okay, shout out GitHub Copilot again, and let's make sure we get a successful status code on that. Okay, we do. Excellent. And now I just want to see what that looks like. Okay, great. I'm already getting some of these. There's a situation that can occur if you create a custom alert that has very stringent criteria and no trades meet the criteria right away. This response is going to be empty. And this will be empty until trades start to meet the criteria and your database, right? The available information starts as soon as you save the custom alert. So the custom alert will be the earliest period of time in which I can access these alerts. So as a general piece of advice, the sooner you create custom alerts, the better off you'll be because you'll have more access to this information. Okay, so what I want to do now, just to make sure it's really clear about what I have access to, I'm going to create a data frame using. Okay, I know I need to get polars SPL. Okay, so when I hit shift enter, that executes that, and now I can come back down here and say pl data frame p.json. Oh, actually, here as I'm typing this out, I'm realizing as I kind of look over at this, this file right here, there's this nested dictionary with information that I want to have access to, and I don't want it to be a nested dictionary inside the data frame. There's probably a big brain way to access this, but I'm going to do it in a less big brain kind of way. So no, I don't need to do any checking. Just gonna say ID. Yeah, okay, all right, I got this here, check this out.
2 weeks later.
No, not price, it should be
6 months later. 2,000 years later.
And then I'm gonna run this. And I wanna create this off of alerts. Oh, and then I wanna see what the data frame looks like. Okay, so the first one is June 20th, 2025, ON 51 put. And let me go ahead and check that on the interval flow, see where that is. Okay, great. Yeah, 51 put for June 20th, 3.36% out of the money. We can go through and do some calculations and investigate some interesting stuff. But in general, if you want access to interval flow or option screener results amongst other tools, then this workflow is the way to get access to this information through the API.